You are miles from home, navigating a heavy storm down an isolated provincial road, when the engine simply cuts out. This vehicle was brand new, yet without warning, it suffered a total mechanical and electrical failure, refusing to turn over no matter how many times the ignition was pressed. Stranded in the remote stretches of Laguna Province, the driver sat in the dark, confronting a harsh reality. He had absolutely zero knowledge of how to troubleshoot or repair a modern engine. We surround ourselves with reliable machinery, expecting it to insulate us from nature. But when those engineered systems fail and the standard rules of physics seem to pause, that insulation vanishes, leaving us completely defenseless. Outside, the storm intensified. The rain battered the windshield, and floodwaters began to pool around the tires, threatening to trap him inside the steel cabin. Scanning the darkness, he spotted a single structure nearby. It was a house, sitting entirely unlit in the torrential downpour. Approaching a pitch-black residence in the middle of nowhere goes against basic human instinct. Yet, despite the lack of electricity, he could sense a distinct, lingering presence waiting inside. When the physical environment turns openly hostile, logic takes a backseat. Pure survival instinct kicks in, forcing a person to cross thresholds they would normally avoid at all costs. After the second knock, the door crept open. Standing in the doorway was a tall woman, 24 years old, with striking, long white hair. Her demeanor was intensely calm. While the driver was soaked and panicked, she stood entirely unbothered, as if she existed completely apart from the chaotic storm raging just inches away. Then came the first fracture in reality. When the driver asked for her name, she ignored the question. Instead, she asked, "Am I beautiful to you?" In a modern emergency, humans rely on standard scripts, checking for injuries, offering a phone, providing a towel. Her response operated on a completely different cultural wavelength, bypassing urgency entirely for an eerie vanity. But severe physical exhaustion creates a dangerous kind of tunnel vision. The brain eagerly ignores glaring behavioral red flags if the person exhibiting them is offering a dry room and a place to sleep. The anomalies quickly compounded. As the driver worried aloud about the rising flood, the woman offered an impossible guarantee. She confidently stated the water could not enter the house, defying the physics of the ongoing storm. She led him down a hallway into a room that felt deeply archaic. The interior was dominated by ornate dark wood furniture and heavy traditional aesthetics, completely lacking modern electrical wiring or light fixtures. She brought him a warm cup of salabat, a traditional ginger tea prepared in an old-world style, and left him with a single lit candle to push back the freezing cold of the room. Even that candle holder was specific. Its design and craftsmanship anchored it firmly to the late 1800s, the era of the Philippine national hero, Jose Rizal. This timeline tracks how the night aligned with a different century. The strange dialogue, the impossible protection, and the artifacts all point to the year 1800. The shift didn't happen in his sleep. The modern reality was already replaced. A time slip can be a subtle overlap of dimensions, a slow transition that anchors a person in a different age before they realize the world has changed around them. The next morning arrived with a jarring auditory shift. The violent pounding of rain had vanished, replaced by the sounds of crowing roosters and children playing outside. Waking up, the driver immediately noticed the discrepancy. The crisp morning lighting, the chill in the air, and the ambient noise entirely contradicted his memories of the night before. Panic set in. He threw off the blankets, sprinted out of the antique bedroom, and rushed toward the street to check on his stranded vehicle. The sudden realization that your entire century has vanished carries a weight far heavier than any ghost story. Stepping outside, he stared at the ground. The paved concrete highway he had broken down on was gone. In its place was a rough dirt road. His brand new car had vanished, replaced by a steady stream of wooden, horse-drawn carriages clattering past him. Looking down the street, he saw massive stone and wooden structures. Colonial-era architecture lined the path, confirming he was no longer in his own time. So we have to ask, did the severe storm induce a highly specific hallucination, Or was the driver physically transported back to the era of Rizal? It leaves us with a terrifying thought. The isolated provincial roads of the Philippines might function as active, dormant portals to the past, and sometimes a dead engine is simply the toll required to enter.